In the heart of the vast Siberian wilderness, where the snow covered pines stretched endlessly toward the sky, a small isolated village clung to the edge of an ancient forest. The people there lived simple lives, bound to the rhythms of the land, and every child was taught to respect the forest's quiet majesty. But no one dared to venture deep into the woods after dark. The villagers spoke of an old legend, a whispering that echoed through the trees when the wind howled. It was said that in the deepest parts of the forest, the trees themselves were alive, cursed to forever repeat the secrets of those who had lost their way. One cold winter's night, a young man named Mikhail, eager to prove his bravery, decided to test the old tale. Armed with only a rifle and a lantern, he set off into the forest as the sun dipped behind the horizon, cloaking the world in shadows. The air was thick with the chill of winter, and the snow crunched beneath his boots. His heart raced with excitement, despite the sense of unease creeping over him. The further he walked, the more oppressive the silence became. The pines, once so still, seemed to shift in the wind, their branches groaning like old bones. Soon Mikhail heard a soft whisper, so faint that he thought it was just his imagination. But then it grew louder, swirling around him like the wind itself. Leave, leave, or you'll never find your way back, the voices hissed. Mikhail paused, his breath visible in the cold night air. His mind screamed at him to turn back, but his feet carried him forward. He pushed through the dense trees, trying to ignore the whispers that seemed to grow more frantic with each step. The cold was biting, seeping into his bones, but the whispering, louder now, kept him moving forward. Who are you? Mikhail called out into the darkness, his voice trembling despite his bravado. There was no reply, just the rustle of branches above, but then in the distance a faint light flickered. Mikhail's heart quickened. He was not alone. Someone was out there, or something. He walked through the light, his breath quickening, and soon came upon a small clearing. There in the center stood an ancient tree, its bark gnarled and twisted, its branches clawing at the sky. Beneath it, a fire burned, strangely bright, yet with no warmth. Suddenly the ground beneath him trembled, and the trees around the clearing began to creak and groan. From the darkness, figures emerged, pale, gaunt shapes, their eyes hollow. They walked toward Mikhail with slow, deliberate steps. They were the lost souls of the forest, those who had wandered too deep and had been consumed by its curse, their faces twisted in agony, frozen in the moment of their demise. The whispers grew louder, now a chorus of wailing voices. Mikhail stumbled backward, panic rising in his chest. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry, he cried. But the spirits were not listening. They were silent, save for their slow, inevitable approach. With one final desperate scream, Mikhail turned and fled into the forest, the echo of the whispers following him like a relentless shadow. He ran until his legs gave out, until the forest swallowed him whole. The next morning, when the villagers searched for Mikhail, they found nothing but his lantern, still flickering in the deep snow. His footprints led into the heart of the forest, but there was no sign of him beyond that. And so the legend grew. Each winter, when the wind howled through the trees, the whispers would return, telling of the fool who dared to listen to them and reminding the villagers that in the wilds of Siberia, the forest always claims its own.